Hello and welcome to day 7 of the Technique Tune-Up Challenge. Great to have you here. Today we're working on a combination of speed picking and pedal tones. Basically we're pedaling back and forth to this C here at the 5th fret on the 3rd string. And essentially by hitting each note 2 times, we're really getting a chance to really build the right hand and left hand coordination. So there's a little bit of a backstory here. Before I actually started doing this, I put out a message on social media and I said, what are people interested in working on technique-wise? What's kind of a problem for you? At the very top of the list was left and right hand synchronization. So this exercise is specifically about that. And there was one other request that I got for doing something around pedal tones. So I thought, let me put these two together because it's a great way to, by double picking each note, you're getting a little extra mileage for every note. All right, basically there are 2 halves of this exercise. Here's the first half. So you can hear, again, that I'm hitting each note 2 times, and I keep pedaling back to that C note. So basically I was going E, C 4 times, F, C 4 times, and G, C. That is to say the E at the 5th fret on the 2nd string, the F at the 6th fret on the 2nd string, and the G at the 8th fret on the 2nd string. So again, slowly that's... All right, the second half of the exercise, we're basically not repeating the notes back and forth. So we're just going to go F, C. Well, that one we actually do repeat, G, C. But I'm kind of thinking of going up, repeating, come back down. And the whole thing. Okay, so let's take a moment and walk through the technique tips. Okay, so there are 2 things going on here that make a bit of a musical oxymoron. That is to say, they're a little bit of a contradiction. On one hand, because we're hitting each note 2 times, it's easier because normally when we're playing, most of the time, every time we have a new pick stroke, we have a new note. However, because we're utilizing the C pedal tone, every time we move from E, F, or G, we have to cross strings. And that poses another problem because we're doing a pedal tone that the tendency that some of you are going to have is to not want to lift up the preceding finger before you move over to the C. And in particular, as we're toggling between that E at the 5th fret on the 2nd string and that C at the 5th fret on the 3rd string, you're going to want a bar there, and that's going to be trouble. Instead, we're going to do something that Joe Satriani taught me called a finger roll. And he had this crazy little exercise that I actually played it tonight. Don't tell Joe, but for like the first time in decades, I was like, I remember how to play it because I practiced it so much. I was kind of like, Joe would have been so proud because the way I practiced it in 1979 and 1980 and 1981, I could come back to it and I could play it. That was the type of practicing that Joe showed me how to do, and that's hopefully what I'm sharing with you, which is so cool. All right, so the deal is you're going to have to do this thing called a finger roll, where basically when we're playing the E note, you're going to have that first string kind of flattened out, but in such a way that really the only string that rings, you don't get that, you don't get that, get that. So the tip of that first finger is muting the 3rd string, the fleshy part of the first finger is muting the 1st string. And in fact, that's a great thing to try. So literally just kind of go, how do I find that spot? And you'll find it. Now the next thing that happens then, in that same position, without moving, you just roll that first finger over to get to the C. You got to watch the intonation there. It's easy to start pushing into the strings and pulling them down and pushing them up. So just watch out for that stuff. So the deal is, I would suggest doing the subdivision exercise there like this. this one is all about basically taking all the things you would learn from a pedal exercise, albeit normally you're only hitting each note one time, and some of the stuff we want to do about a left and right hand coordination exercise and putting them together, which is why this was so much fun. I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.